Hello and welcome to, our first post-game reaction here on Manchester United Mondays. So, what's going to happen here is we're going to go a little bit over the Premier League. We are going to obviously talk in depth about Manchester United, what's happening, what happened. Wish it was under a little bit better terms this week, but it's not. We'll get into that. But we are working our way towards 500 subscribers. What our ultimate goal for this channel is going to be is maybe get to some watch-alongs on some games. Maybe we can even go, post-game chats after some games. I want to get you guys involved because I'm a fan. This is for fans. We all have opinions, and we should be able to share them. And that's kind of how I just wanted to do it. I want to have some fun supporting our team. And, so that's what we're going to do. So, comment down below if you disagree, agree, have something you want to add to the conversations. But we'll see how long each one lasts. Probably trying to do around at least 20, 30 minutes. Once you guys get in and out. And we'll see where this goes. So hop along the train, subscribe. Like I said, we're working towards 500 subscribers. So let's help us get there. And once we get there, we'll have a cool little show celebrating that. So first thing I'll touch on every week is just real fast games that have already happened in the Premier League. If I've seen them, I'll tell you a little bit about what I thought. I did see a few games, 2 games besides the Manchester United game, obviously, this week. Let's see what we got here. So, I like my phone. I write everything down on my phone. Liverpool beat Bournemouth 4-2. And honestly, I wasn't overly impressed with Liverpool. I think their offense is very impressive. Don't get me wrong. But I think because their offense is so impressive, their defense is lacking. And that's what I saw. I turned it on, I believe, 60th minute maybe on Friday. And it was 2-0 Liverpool. I was like, well, Liverpool's doing Liverpool things. And then Bournemouth came flying back and tied it 2-2. And I was like, oh, wow, here we go. Because, there was a lot of holes in that Liverpool defense. And that's what teams are going to have to they're going to have to do this year. Is you're going to have to outscore Liverpool. They're going to score a lot of goals this season. But I think they're going to give up some goals too. So, Liverpool wins. Didn't see Aston Villa Newcastle. They drew 0-0. 0-0. Everyone take it. Brighton Fulham drew 1-1. Sunderland beat West Ham 3-0. Tottenham wins 3-0. Man City beat probably the worst team in the Premier League 4-0 over the Wolves. So that, it's not impressive, even though they'll tell us that it is. Chelsea and Crystal Palace. I did watch most of that game today, and they drew 0-0. And then Nottingham Forest beat Brentford 3-1. They were up 3-0, and then Brentford scored a late goal. So Nottingham Forest actually kind of impressed me based off of the highlights I saw. And then, of course, unfortunately, we fall 1-0 to Arsenal in Week 1. Not very pleased about that because I think we outplayed them. I think anybody that watched the game would say we outplayed them. And, But I want to start even before we get into the game itself and look at some of Ruben Amorim's decision-making. And I don't know where it's coming from. Because when I saw the lineups come out, first thing I thought to myself is, this looks like a preseason game. I don't know what you guys thought of the lineup, but it looked like a preseason lineup to me. We were told Sesko was going to be ready. And if you're going to pay $100 million or close to it on a striker that's already been ramping up to play, why couldn't he go 90 minutes today? I don't understand. I don't get that. I'm never going to get that. Why? It's Arsenal, team that finished second in the Premier League for 3 straight years, who's got a lot of aspirations, and who took, in some people's minds, Gyökeres from us as a striker. Now, Gyökeres did nothing. I'm not saying he's not going to do nothing later. He's only going to get better. I think so. But he didn't do anything when he was on the pitch. And so, he didn't kill us, which was very promising. But also that struck me odd. Where was Ahmed? Why wasn't he starting? It seems like every time he hits the pitch, the tempo goes up. Has anybody else noticed that? The tempo of the entire team goes up the moment he comes on the pitch. Now, he is undersized. He is a little bit of a tweener. But he's good. He makes things happen. And for a team that scored 44 Premier League goals last year, we need that. So I was a little bit confused about that. The other two big obvious is Onana in the goal and Højlund not playing. Neither one of them were even on the bench. As far as Onana goes, I think they're trying to send a message. They could say it's a hamstring all they want. He didn't play in the preseason. He hasn't played yet, that I know of. He might have played one of the games I wasn't able to catch in the preseason. But my guess is no, since he didn't play in the first game of the Premier League. I mean, a lot of people got to remember, we only have 38 of these. We're not in European football this year. So we need to play our best players in these games. So he wasn't even on the bench, which tells me I don't think they want him. I honestly don't think they want him on the roster. And I think they're trying to force him off the roster. And it might be the right move. I mean, our goalkeeping today was garbage. The only reason why we lost today was by a goalkeeping mistake. He made the mistake on the corner and gave up the goal. That's the only goal we gave up. They didn't have a lot of chances. Arsenal did not have a lot of chances against the goalie today. And I'm going to go over the stats later. I mean, we should have won the match. We should have got 3 points today. And at worst, it should have been a 0-0 draw. But it's not. We come away with nothing. And that's the most frustrating part about me today. And I'm sure it is for you guys as well. Is we lost 1-0 when we outplayed them. And I don't know how many of you guys are in the United States and what who you have doing games in Europe, but NBC domestically here in the United States, their announcers are horrible. I'll get into that later. But Højlund, I think that's a different situation. Højlund wants to be here. He's made that abundantly clear. He wants to be a part of this team. I think Højlund has to go, and they've made him aware of that, to look if we're ever going to get that midfielder or goalie that we need. We're going to have to use that money that we get from Højlund for that position. And I think that's just what it amounts to. I don't think they really mind Hoyland being on the roster. He's not Garnacho. He's not any of them. He's not. He comes ready to play. He's underachieved. We'll all say that. But I think that he would have been a great backup striker. But I think to make this team better long term, we're going to have to sell him. And so I think that's why he didn't play today. I think they're getting close to maybe something happening with Hoyland. I've heard some rumblings about Hoyland, and I think that's kind of why he didn't play today. Going back to the announcers. They had an ex-Arsenal player calling the game. Which, hey, there's a lot of Arsenal players, a lot of Manchester United players, there's a lot of Chelsea players, there's a lot of, you play for a lot of Premier League teams sometimes, and whatever. A couple comments that just struck me the wrong way, and I don't know if they would strike you guys the wrong way, but I was listening to them, and I was a little disturbed by NBC's coverage of our club. And one of them was, he was talking about Ruben Amorim last year, talking about how sometimes he would go into games already kind of thinking this is not going to end well. And Mr. Arsenal himself decided he wanted to chime in with, well, why didn't he change his system? He didn't change his system because Manchester United brought him in not to change his system. This was a work in progress when they brought Ruben Amorim in. It's still a work in progress. So, you don't know what the hell's going on in Manchester United. Stay out of our business. Don't talk negatively about our team because your team's got their own problems. He made another comment, and I think it was the 92nd or 93rd minute. Maguire clearly got dragged down by the jersey in the box. Should have been a penalty. And if you don't think it's a penalty, let me know. Put in the comments, say, Chad, that wasn't a penalty. I'll be like, okay, I'm not Mr. Soccer expert. I never will be. But, in my mind, that's as clear as it gets if you're pulling a guy down who's about to try to kick a ball into the goal. And he goes, that should never be called. Why? He goes, Maguire just needs to get over it. He said something to that extent. And I was just like, it was comments throughout the entire game about how great Arsenal was. And how, they're only going to get better. Manchester United is Manchester United. They're going to be the bottom half again. Okay. It's not happening. I can promise you that. It's not happening. And I'll tell you why it's not happening. Because this team today, they didn't win. They didn't win, didn't get the bounce they needed, they took, and I'm going to go over the stats here in a minute, but they started with what I would, again, consider a preseason roster, preseason lineup, and didn't come with their best. I think Ahmed's got to play every game. I think he's got to start. I think Sesko obviously has got to start. I don't understand that at all. Of him not coming in, I think it was the 65th minute, somewhere in that range. And he could, a guy who's literally coming on as a striker in his first game with the team, in his first Premier League game, you're bringing him on down 1-0, and what are you expecting him to do? This guy needed time to work with his teammates in game situations. If we were going to lose the game 1-0, Why wasn't he playing the entire 90 minutes? Anyways, I'm not going to harp on that. Sesko should have been in the lineup, and I'm sure most of you agree with me. He should have been playing in that lineup. If he can play the last, 30, 35 minutes, he can play the full 90. But because we didn't have a striker, there was no striker in that lineup. Mason Mount's great. Don't get me wrong. He played a great preseason. He's surprised me. I'll tell you that. I made the comment, if you watched past podcast, about when we went to Atlanta, Mabumo was a little bit out of shape, in my opinion. He looked much better today. Cunha he's a star. He's a star. And we all know what Bruno is. But we still got to shore up that mid. And I don't think we've done that yet. And I hope we're not finished in the transfer market because we got a couple weeks. But let me go over a little bit of what happened. All right, so Arsenal won, obviously, 1-0. This is why in my opinion, we outplayed them. In shots, Arsenal had 9 shots. Manchester United had 22 shots. Shots on target. Arsenal had 3. Manchester United had 7. Possession of the ball. Arsenal had 38%. Manchester United had 62%. Passes. Arsenal had 296. Manchester United had 476. Passing accuracy. Arsenal had 75% passing accuracy. Manchester United had 82%. Fouls. 19 were called on Arsenal, 10 on Manchester United. Yellow cards. 4 yellow cards on Arsenal, 1 on Manchester United. No red cards were issued in the game. 2 offsides on Arsenal, 1 on Manchester United. The only thing they won was on corners. They had 4. Manchester United had 3. If I told you those stats and didn't put any, I guess would say anything in there, what would you guys think? What team would have won? Now you can't harp, and I hope that the team doesn't harp, because I worry a little bit about the mental state, because everybody was excited going into today. Fan base, players, management, a lot of people were excited, including myself. I mean, what should we be? We were finally over the 15th place finish from last season. But at the end of the day, you start at goal, Bander, defensive line of Delight, Yoro, and Shaw. Dallo on the right wing, Dorgo on the left. Midfield is Bruno and Casemiro. Mason Mount, Brian Mabumo are the attack midfielders. And Cunha will lead the attack. That was the starting lineup today. When I saw that starting lineup go out, I was like, we're going to lose 3-0. I don't understand why. I don't understand. There's got to be something going on behind the scenes with Andre Ayew. I mean, I don't know. Sesko's got to play. I don't want to see another week because of Sesko. Sesko's got to play 90. Sesko is young, talented, tall. He's got long strides. I liked what I saw. Yeah, he didn't score. He didn't get. I don't think he even got a shot on goal. But it was like I said. He only played 30, 35 minutes. I liked how he looked. I really like Cunha and Mabumo. I think those guys I think are going to work perfectly in Amorim's system. I think Bruno knew that. I mean, there's an ass clown on ESPN who did the previews. Ryan, what's that dude's name? I got everything in my phone, so let me find this dude. He decided he wanted to predict the entire predictions of the Premier League. That's what he wanted to do. Okay. He had Manchester United at 11th. We spent $200 million in transfer fees. And you're telling me we're going up 4 spots? This is why he says we're moving up just 4 spots. And I'm going to read this whatever garbage he wrote. So the company Gradient tracks a number of new contextual statistics. One of them is the number of shots a player takes when there's a better passing option available. Because we all know that's how this game works. Last season, Cunha led the league with 57 shots when a better option was available, while his new teammate, Bruno Fernandes, ranked 4th with 44. Playing for Brentford, a club more obsessed with shot quality than any others in the world, Mbeumo still managed to take 29 shots with a better option available, tied for 12th most in the league. While we don't have all of Sesko's average, distance from goal on shots was 17.3 yards, an 8th percentile mark among all forwards across Europe's Big 5 leagues. That's how he started the 11th place nonsense he gave us. So I'm going to stop there and answer a couple questions. We scored 44 goals in Premier League play last year. Take the damn shot. You never know what's going to happen. Look at today. Look at today. That should tell you everything you need to know. The goalie made a mistake and it bounced in, and that's the difference in the game. So, take the shot. There's a better option. That doesn't mean he can't get it in. There's just a better option. How do you know this? An analytics is going to tell you what's going on and everything and how a mind works. AI is great and all. Let's keep it a little bit. Let's don't get it twisted. These guys are talented, and they showed that today. So Ryan, what's this dude's name again? Ryan O'Hanlon. You're a big ass that doesn't know nothing. I don't even know why ESPN even put this out. Then he continues with one big question. A midfielder question mark? Any midfielder question mark? United have completely revamped their forward line with Cunha, Mbeumo, and Sesko. And while there are major questions around either the age profiles, production profiles, or both for all 3 of those players, this team scored 44 goals last season. That's what I just said. Thank you, Captain Obvious. More than only Everton and 3 relegated sides. They need to score more goals. I'm glad ESPN's paying you to tell a team that finished 15th in the Premier League they need to score more goals. You just ripped on the guys shooting, but they need to score more goals. I don't know if he knows how football works. If you don't shoot, you don't score. That's how that works. But they now head into the season with Fernandes, Ugarte, Mano, and Casemiro as their 4 senior-level midfielders. Perhaps midfield depth isn't as important in a system like Ruben Amorim's that only uses 2 rather than more common midfield 3. But there are key questions about all 4 of those players. Okay? Fernandes is really an attacking midfielder. Okay, again, got to score more goals. Not someone you can rely on part of a midfield 2. They look pretty good today. Now, could they be better? Yeah. Fernandes is not the problem. Bruno is not the problem. Go ask Saudi how much of a problem he is. Ugarte struggled to do anything other than hit people last season. Good take. At 20, Manu is still a territory player who's most impactful around the box. Didn't he say score goals? They were pushing it all game long. They kept pushing. So I'll take that kind of football all year. That kind of attacking, I'll take all year. Now, again, midfield's a huge still question mark because there's going to be other games. This is just one. But I liked what today looked like in that department. And Casemiro, now there's the weak point in my opinion, is 33 sliding headfirst down the age curve. At a time when all of the best teams in the world have invested heavily in a young, mobile, physical midfield talent, United have looked at the part of the field and mostly just shrugged. That's his take on Manchester United. I don't know if that goes worldwide or if that's just a United States thing. And I don't know who Ryan O'Hanlon is. Let's look that up. Who in the hell is Ryan O'Hanlon and how much soccer has he played? Oh, here he is. Ryan O'Hanlon, journalist. Hold on. I got a picture. You guys are going to love this one. This is the guy that is telling us we're finishing 11th in the Premier League. Ryan O'Hanlon. Man, he knows a lot of it. Let's see what he's done. He's a staff writer. Oh, I thought he had a Wikipedia page, but I guess he just made his own Wikipedia page. He's a staff writer at ESPN. His writing has appeared at 538, the New York Times, and GQ, among other publications. He lives in Los Angeles, California. Now, 11:30, I'm just going to do some math here. What was it, 3 hours? 8:30 in the morning, and this was a late game. So, was he up at 8:30 watching this game this morning? How much Premier League soccer is he watching? In Los Angeles, California. I hope he's got a DVR that works because he looks like he's my IT guy. Not someone who knows soccer. I'd like to know his soccer credentials instead of his GQ and New York Times articles he's wrote. Because to take shots at Manchester United right now, nah. Do they have things they need to change? Yes. I think every fan in this fan base knows we need to get better in certain areas. That was a lazy article. We will not finish 11th. I promise you that. Mark this one down. We will not finish 11th in the Premier League this season. Not the way we played today. As long as we stay healthy, no way. Sesko barely played. And we were very attacking. We were attacking. It showed in those stats. So, I'm not going to even give his name out anymore because he's he doesn't even go work for GQ, and I don't even know if they have a magazine anymore. Do people read magazines anymore? Dude, tell us what kind of I know. Don't give us fashion advice. You saw the picture. Don't do that. But let's look at the future. So we fell 1-0 today. Next Sunday we have Fulham. It's time to start winning. We're on the road against Fulham. We started off pretty tough. Then we got our first EFL. We're in the second round cup. That's going to be on Wednesday. That's the only tournament where we really have to manage a week, and it's very few, here and there. We're going against a League 2 Grimsby Town team. We should easily be able to sit our starters and win that game. And if we don't, okay. But I think that it would be very hard for us to lose, even though we got to travel there. Come back home against Burnley. Then we got our little brother in Man City. Then we got Chelsea, which is good team. Brentford, Sunderland, and then Liverpool. We have one of the toughest stretches to begin the Premier League season. So we've got to get points where we can get points. Is there any team that I see that's so good that they're just going to run away with this? I don't. Not in week 1. Now, I could be wrong in a month, 2 months when we start talking standings, because I don't want to do that now. It's all dependent on who you play for the first couple months. I probably won't even look at that until a couple of months in. I don't want to look at that. But, again, with that said, we need to pick up some points where we can pick up some points. I was hoping to get the draw today. We got to get the goalie situation handled. We got to get another midfielder. We get those done. We can definitely, the way we played today, if we continue that type of play, compete for the top 5 in the Premier League this season. You guys let me know what you think. Again, please subscribe. I want to get some lives. I want to do some of that, but to do that, you guys need to subscribe, get some views, share the podcast to any Manchester United Red Devils supporters. I appreciate you guys giving me some time, and I'm a fan. This is a podcast for fans, so I want you to be involved, make comments, just be a part. Let's just have some fun, and let's support our team, because I think it's going to be special. Week 1's not going to make us. It's not going to make or break us. We're going to come back next week and we're going to fight hard. So, I believe in Ruben Amorim. Sesko better be in the starting lineup. Ahmed needs to play more. If you disagree with anything I said today or agree with anything I said today, let me know in the comments below. Talk to you guys next week.